All right, we have our hands on the latest NCMEC data here. Now, for whatever reason, so they've been publishing this and making press releases about this, and we've been trying to get our hands on last year's data. And for whatever reason, they haven't done a press release about it. Usually they have done press releases about it. They have kind of put this out there. But for whatever reason, they have tried to essentially hide this data, although it is alarming. What I think isn't necessarily newsworthy to them, to NCMEC, or maybe even to the media, is that we have sort of this plateau happening. Since the pandemic began, we have seen sort of this spike in actually, I think the spike is even higher. I think it's like an 80% spike. And now we have sort of this plateau happening, or sort of like this. What it looks like is that a plateau is happening. But we have more CSAM reports on social media platforms, electronic service providers. We have 30. Let's turn this off here. Thumbnails. We have 31.8 million CSAM, CSA reports on electronic service providers in 2022. So nobody's talking about this. I don't know why, but we're making this video to kind of compare to what this increase looks like across different service providers. And what is an electronic service provider? It's basically any kind of electronic service online that's anywhere from like a Google Drive to like Google itself, or even YouTube or Facebook, etc. If you don't know, I'm going to spoil it for you. Last year, there were 26 million child blank reports on Facebook platforms. Facebook platforms being Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And I can tell you it's more this year. Not significantly. I'll tell you, I'll spoil it for you right now. There was only a 1.14% increase on Facebook platforms last year compared to the year before, which is extraordinary. The year before, from 2020 to 2021, we were looking at, just on Facebook platforms, a 32% increase. Since the pandemic began, this is up like 80%. Pre-pandemic levels. So, the theory is that obviously the pandemic forced people to go online more and forced people to just generally not be able to pay enough attention to their children and what they were doing online. And the result was an 80% increase in CSA reports. So here we are. Let's take a look at some notables. We have 4chan up. Like, I don't even know how 4chan even still exists. This has been used by Elliot, what's his face? The guy who, did some bang stuff with some chads and some, what does he call it? He's like he's an incel. He was an incel. He turned the gun on himself after doing some pretty bad things to a lot of people. So one thing to note is that Airbnb went down in 2021, 62 reports, and 41 reports in 2022. So that's great. Way to go, Airbnb. for reducing CSAM or CSA reports on your platform. Clubhouse, if you don't know, is a social media platform that is up almost, I would say, over double. Apple would likely include their upload platform. So their I forget what it's called, iCloud. I'm assuming that includes iCloud. I don't know what else they would be having reports made about iCloud or about Apple products. Amazon Photos, very significant jump. We have in 2021, Amazon Photos, 27,000. And in 2022, 55,000. Some of these, you just don't know what the company is all about unless you actually Google who they are. For instance, I have no idea what Big Bang Media is. And let's see what Big Bang Media is. Now, I don't know if this is the right. I don't know. I mean, this looks like just a regular media production company. But, who knows? One thing on here that most people don't know is OnlyFans. OnlyFans is owned by a company called Phoenix, I believe. Yeah, it's called Phoenix. Let's spoil the fun and Phoenix. So in 2021, there were 2,900, almost 3,000 CSAM reports or CSA reports on Phoenix platforms. And look at this. Significant decrease. That is kind of weird to see that kind of decrease. But it's great. I mean, there shouldn't be any on there. This is an adult platform where pretty much all of their content creators are quote unquote verified, although the verification method is pretty poor. We have Classmates Online. Like Classmates Online, there was one report in 2000 and it doesn't look like they had any reports in 2022. So as you can see here, I mean, comparing the two, I think we're going to get, once we get to like Facebook, obviously Facebook is a big leader here. Facebook here had a slight decrease on Facebook itself, probably because less people are using Facebook. There's been a significant decrease in Facebook users, so less children to exploit or whatever. But where we're going to see an increase likely is on Instagram and WhatsApp. Let's skip there. Instagram, 3.3 million reports on Instagram. And let's check out. Oh, here's Grindr, adult dating platform, adult gay dating platform. Doubled, more than doubled its wow. Like, it just kind of blows my mind, like how some of these companies are so reckless. Google Now, Google likely makes these reports to NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They make these reports based on obviously them kind of crawling the internet. Now, I don't know if there's some duplication going on there, but anyways, let's get to Instagram. Instagram is another big one. Wow. That's huge. Huge increase for Instagram. We have 5 million reports in 2022 compared to 3.3 million reports in 2021. Comment below if you want to take a look or even discuss some of these. Second Life, Linden Lab. Wow. They've been kind of like hovering around this for a while. This is Second Life, the video game. The video game where there is basically everybody's a cartoon character. So like, I'm kind of interested to know like how it is that these kinds of reports happen. I mean, it's quite possible that like, they don't have any age verification. So it's quite possible that, kids just go on there and then, adults chop them up. This is a big surprise here. MG Free Sites is the parent company of Pornhub. Oops, I don't know how to. So look at this decrease. A little bit of work on their part. I don't know why this is kind of highlighting like this, but going from 9,000 to it looks like just over 2,000 in 1 year. Great job, Pornhub. But it's kind of weird. I guess that kind of brings up a different discussion about their business model, first of all. Secondly, also why it is that they're actually doing this. They could have done this all along. They could have had these numbers like this all along, but they chose not to. And it's also really kind of interesting to see what it is that people's motivation is, because they only made this choice to kind of go in this direction, in a downward direction, when MasterCard or Visa or the credit card companies threaten them about pulling out, no pun intended. So they could have had these numbers like this or even lower. I'm suggesting they could be a ton lower, but it's really weird that they've kind of changed to this. So I believe they've changed everything. So all of their creators on their platform now are all verified. So they don't have any kind of content on there that includes like amateur stuff, but it's still like, this is significantly high, I would say. Significantly lower than the year before, but still, I think that they can do better. I think all of these companies can do better. We should be seeing these numbers just dramatically going down. We have in Utah. So this is another interesting tidbit about Pornhub. Apparently they've been protesting in Utah. They took away access to Pornhub in Utah because Utah is bringing in a law for verification for all users on social media. So here's Pornhub now in protest to this, basically taking away Pornhub service to people in Utah, even though the law is not even in effect yet. but they're just like trying to stay relevant, I guess. So this is another huge one. Where is it? Omegle. So 46,000 in 2021. This jumped to 608,000 reports in 2022. Like, outrageous. Outrageous. Like, how does this happen? Well, I can tell you how it happens. It happens because there's no verification. And because of the pandemic, a lot more people were going on Omegle, became a lot more popular. So that's what we see here, trending wise, is that when sites become more popular, platforms become more popular, their CSA reports go up. And another notable one here is TikTok. So 154,000 CSA reports in 2021. And this has jumped to 288,000. Again, this kind of fits that theory that when the popularity of a product online goes up, that the CSA reports will follow. And this, I mean, is, almost double. This is extraordinary. Like, most people think, oh, TikTok is just a video sharing website, but it's not. I mean, it's like a place for people to connect. And wherever there's a place for people to connect online, there's a huge amount of risk. So this number for Tinder is deceiving. Tinder is owned by Match Group. Match Group owns, like, I think 10 different dating platforms. And in total, last year, there were about 4,000. And this year, there's about 3,600, 3,672 on all of their Match Group platforms. Even though it went down on Tinder and shouldn't be that high already to begin with, they are just, they're struggling. And guess who sits on the board at Tinder? Ryan Reynolds, Canadian film actor Ryan Reynolds. And he sits on the board and he is basically supporting them with 3,600 child sex abuse reports in 2022. I also just WhatsApp. Let's see, major change in WhatsApp. I think they have gone. I think they've kind of stabilized. They've gone deep. So on Facebook platforms, the major increase was Instagram, which is kind of counterintuitive because most people are kind of complaining about Instagram and thinking that Instagram is kind of losing its thing, losing its pizzazz. And I hope that this is informative for you. I really want to encourage you to be thinking differently about how you use social media. We here at Defend are focused on trying to reduce this number. So this number should not be going up. 31 million. And in 2021, it was 29 million. So why? Why is it going up still? And people are complaining, oh, government doesn't need to step in here. But these, each one of these represents a child. Each one of these represents an image of somebody or an incident where a child was harmed. So who else is going to step in? These companies are not responsible enough to govern themselves, obviously. They care pretty much all about profit. So I encourage you to think differently about how you use social media. And if you know a child that is on social media, talk to them about these risks. If you're a parent, get involved at such an early age with teaching them about this kind of stuff. That's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next time.